Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. John Owen talks about sports and movies. Thank you for checking out today's video. I always appreciate the support and let's get into it. So last night I saw The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves and starring Robert Pattinson as the titular character, and as you can tell by the title, an Arkham-esque masterpiece. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to tell you what I specifically liked about it and maybe a few tweaks that I didn't particularly like about it. But I want to make sure, but you guys make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? All that good stuff. And subscribe so you never miss out on any of the fun. I'm also going to issue a spoiler warning. If you have not seen the movie yet, just save this video and come back to when you have watched it, and then you can leave your thoughts down in the comments below. But with all that being said, let's get into the video. So just some very quick cons. I felt like the runtime was maybe a little long, but that may have just stemmed from the fact that I had to pee really bad. The last like hour and a half of the movie because I drank my drink too fast at the movie theater. So that may have not been an actual issue with the film. And I felt like Catwoman was felt a little sidelined. But that I think that more functions from not her having enough adequate screen time in the film and more of the fact that I thought she was going to have just a bigger role in the movie than she actually ended up having. But she is integral to the plot and everything like that. I just thought it was going to be more of like a Batman and Catwoman team up adventure. And it's not quite that as much, but that's not necessarily the movie's fault. That's just an expectation of mine that was not met, that I'm not like upset about or anything like that. So those are only two cons. That's very nitpicky though, because this movie is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I really do think that I know I've only seen it once and I'd have to see it again, but I mean, it's not crazy to say the Batman is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. No doubt, no doubt. I would definitely have to put it way up there. Um, I think honestly, this is probably. I mean, I don't want to say it's better than The Dark Knight or any other comic book movie because I've only seen it once, so I'd have to see it again. But you know, in a few months' time, after I've watched it a few more times, I wouldn't be surprised if I say that, and that might just be being a little recency bias and everything like that. But I'm gonna get into what I liked about the movie. So, with the 3 hour runtime, basically it's like 2 hours and 56 minutes technically, but you can really flesh out a lot. But I think the thing that this movie does so well that I like so much is my first two bullet points was the mystery detective aspect. This was literally just like a 3 hour Criminal Minds episode, but with Batman. And I love Criminal Minds and shows like that. So, um, just the Riddler's all his riddles and the puzzle and just the winding mystery of really what's going on in Gotham is just really fantastic and well done. And the Riddler as a serial killer is unlike anything we've ever seen with the character before, and I think it works so well. Him being this sadistic killer is such a tonal directional change for a normal adaptation of the character, but at his core, him still thinking that, you know, he's smarter than Batman and all that stuff and trying to outsmart him is quite fantastic. So I think at the core, the Riddler is still fights that same battle, trying to prove himself intellectually superior to Batman, and I think this movie does that fantastically. But just all the riddles and stuff like that, the revelation that Thomas Wayne got Falcone to murder Thomas Elliot, the reporter who could potentially be Hush. I think that would be cool. Um, the fact that, you know, Martha was a Arkham, and just the whole plot line of um and like the DA and all the cops working for Falcone and everything like that. Um, all of that was super interesting and way well done. And they told us this story or this movie was going to be about the corruption of Gotham, exposing it, and they definitely did that. And just the shocking ending of flooding Gotham was super well done as well. And just all that together really I mean, the mystery and detective stuff in this movie is fantastic, and watching Bruce figure it all out is also really good. No Batman movie, I think, has really ever portrayed his detective side, hardly at all. Um, but this movie really, really leans heavy into it, and I think that's definitely his best part. And I think they absolutely nail it. But I think the characterization of Bruce Wayne, and Batman in this movie is really, really, really good. I think him. I've seen some people kind of complain that he was like socially awkward, or like Robert Pattinson's not a good Bruce Wayne. And we typically know Bruce as this flamboyant player boy and stuff like that. But I think it's just Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves. This movie goes in a different direction with Bruce as a reflection of his trauma. His trauma has caused him to be this very socially awkward person. And so this is more of a narrative through the point of Bruce's eyes as opposed to a story like The Dark Knight might be. Um, if that makes sense. But hold on, I lost my train of thought there for a second. But really what stood out to me was, just watching Bruce progress and and receive the information as we're receiving it. And his reaction and everything like that. But really what stuck out to me was the line at the end where I don't remember the exact wording, but he was like, um, vengeance isn't enough. The city needs hope. Like, vengeance is, like, my rage is not giving enough to save the city. I'm going to have to be more than that. And just that self awareness is something I think really lacks from some Batman interpretations. Um, and so I really, 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 really liked that and thought that was outstanding. And I absolutely loved watching Bruce kind of progress in this movie. The Riddler was absolutely outstanding. I already talked about him a little bit, kind of in the first aspect, but Daniel Bato, I think that's his name, did a great job as a more sadistic, kind of more serious version of the Riddler, but still playful and kind of joking and stuff like that. Riddler was great. Gotham, the cinematography in this movie is beautiful. I mean, the way Gotham is portrayed, Gotham truly looks like a hopeless, hopeless place to live in. Uh, more done or done well more than any other Batman movie. I mean, even like Nolan's Gotham and any other Gotham you could think of. Um, this Gotham really is like very hopeless, very dirty. The corruption is insane, everything like that. And Gotham is just portrayed. That to me, that felt like the most authentic Gotham we've seen. Um, in a live action movie for sure, no doubt. I would really, and this movie just overall is just beautiful. The cinematography in this movie is fantastic. Every single shot is a great shot, uh, and it's just fantastic. Penguin and Catwoman were great. It was funny. I was watching the movie with my mom, and she asked, and the credits roll around. She's like, "Who are they calling Pharrell play?" And I was like, "Penguin." She was very shocked. The prosthetics were outstanding, but he was very funny. I believe like him and Commissioner Gordon provided the very correct amount of humor that this movie needed. It wasn't too much. Clearly, this is not some MCU movie where they're cracking a one-liner every other time, but they do have some very, very, very funny lines that got a few laughs out of the theater. So, and I'm excited to see where Penguin goes going forward because I definitely think he's going to try to make a power grab at the rest of the city since Maroni and Falcone are both now gone. And Zoe Kravitz absolutely killed it as Catwoman. I mean, she's just great. I definitely don't think that she's done. I know she went to Blood Hayden and everything like that, but I have no doubt that she'll be back. Um, it was fantastic. Robert's performance, Robert Pattinson in the Batsuit did a really, really, really fantastic job. Um, as Bruce Wayne, he's like a little awkward, but I think that's by design, and he does that very well. But I mean, he's just super intimidating in the suit. I mean, the black eyeliner to me, I think, really, really is cool. And I mean, Robert Pattinson delivers so much just through his eyes and his body language. I mean, you think about the funeral scene where they go to the mayor's funeral. I mean, he like that's a 5 8 minute scene, and he doesn't talk at all until he comes back as Batman. But you can tell like the pain and the terror kind of in his eyes and everything like that. And so I think Robert Pattinson did a great job. Um, but just the physical presence and the intimidation factor of this Batman is through the roof. I mean, he just is an absolute force to be reckoned with. I mean, that scene where he goes back to the iceberg lounge and he just like walks down the gunmen, who are just like lighting him up. I mean, he just tanks all of it, and just like the glares he can give, or the glares he gives, and everything like that. Super super intimidating. Really 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 great, fantastic Batman stuff. And the Batmobile, I absolutely love the Batmobile. I mean, come on, guys, it's a sports car. Who doesn't love that? It's super cool. I would say probably this movie portrays Batman the best out of any movie I've ever seen. Probably outside of the Arkham games, this is probably the best Batman adaptation. I would say. And so overall, an absolute masterpiece. The blend of mystery and detective aspects combined with Bat's pure physical brutality accumulated into a perfect depiction of the character to kick this franchise off. Throwing a great Gotham and side characters, and you've got basically a live action Arkham game. I really mean that when I say this is probably the best adaptation of Batman outside of like an Arkham game. I really do mean that. I think this movie is really, really good, and I don't think it's going to be surprising when this movie enters the conversation um, as potentially the greatest comic book movie of all time. And leave your thoughts in the comments down below and on the movie. Make sure you guys just check out all the link content and have a great day.